Here we go. I think we're on now. Yep.
I like to blame Pat.
Of
Yeah,
course.
that's fine. That's fine.
Of course.
You hear me, Gary?
Mm-hmm. Come around the other side. Oh, snack time is running.
Yeah, we back up. We're running. We're
I don't
running.
know. I don't know where it's coming. No.
To my man Reggie Watson. What's up, Reg?
Yeah,
Dude,
Reggie's been
Reg.
on the low for a little bit.
Nah.
He's always
Always
on.
on.
Mm.
He's
What's up,
always
Reg?
on. Corrada. That's
Corrada,
Corrada's
top.
king.
Top people right there.
Yep. Jeremiah, what's the deal? What's going on? What's going on, Reg?
Yo,
Keep going.
that's my man right there. He's supposed to be a pastor, but he's running, Pat.
Is he running?
He's running. I want to first of all wait. Hold on. I want to see Harold Chandler. I want to thank him for the funds that he sent for the choir, and he sent a sizable amount. So Harold, thank you so much, man. And the choir did a marvelous job in at Oakwood and at Madison Mission. Thank you again for sending that money, man. It was really needed. Thank you. And I saw your boy looking good, man. Your son looking good.
Hey, Carolyn, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Carol and Fritz. What's going on?
Yeah, Carolyn and Fritz. I think they were doing some music thing and
The daughter is in a choir festival.
choir instrument.
I think it's instrument, Pat. Yeah.
So, Pat, I'm not trying to be funny, man. I know you showed me some new things. Am I cloudy?
A little bit there. Mom said, Patrick, what did you take from here? I just left Mom's house. So she asked me, what did I take?
I'll be down next week.
What did you take, Pat?
I ain't take nothing.
I didn't take nothing.
Not this time around. Carolyn said it's the choir, Gary, just to let you know.
It's a choir. Okay. So I'll be down there next week. I got authorization.
You're gonna be where?
Authorization.
What do you mean authorization? From your wife? Authorization?
Yeah, I need authorization to go. We have
Like
to we have to coordinate our schedule because the 11th next week is Veterans Day, and that's a bank holiday. And that's the best day for me to do business because there's no money moving that day.
What's this, G?
That looks like a pecan roll.
So we got all the way from UK's in the house, Shireen Taylor.
Shireen Taylor, man, good people.
Okay, so we got to be careful how we talk because if it's at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's 8 o'clock at night right over there. It's
It's Sabbath over there.
Y'all gonna start that? I mean, we got to do something with the show because next week,
no,
the sun sets
Sunday.
early. Sunday.
Sunday
Right.
comes back.
So this is the last show we're gonna do 2 hours. We're gonna have to shut it down a little early.
Or you and Paul got to get spiritual. It's either one or the other.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Either one or
Yo,
the other.
happy birthday to our girl, Erica. Erica, I think this week had a birthday. Happy birthday,
Erica. Oh, Erica Clifton?
Mm-hmm.
Erica,
Yes.
50 and looking like she's 40.
I'll say 38.
38. Oh, me and G hit the same age. 38.
She looks good.
Yeah, that's funny. I tried to call her. She didn't pick up the phone.
This is an online thing, okay? We ain't back in school.
I think when you call somebody, they
get
would
pictures of
appreciate
her
it.
toes. She's not gonna send you pictures of her toes and all that kind of stuff. She's a grown woman.
Big kids, Pat. Big kids.
I was just trying to show you my man in his Pathfinder uniform real quick. You see him?
Is that Colin Powell?
Yep. He in his Pathfinder.
Pat, I got to tell you, you know who we need to get on the show?
Who that?
Whitney Phipps. He's got to be the biggest superstar Adventist that we know.
Yo,
You know, he sang at the joint.
Did he sing?
How? Okay.
I didn't
How could you last for so long and being so good and looking so young and still walking there with a track? My man walked into the cathedral with a track.
Maybe that's what they call. Maybe that's what they call for. Sometimes you don't know what the producers call for.
Hey, but here's the thing. When my man finished singing, we in the Adventist church, you know, we fight if you're going to clap or not. Not a single drop. Just sang, oh, and just walked out.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And Karen is killing me.
Karen just hit me up too.
Like, you ain't see it?
How can you not watch that? You know, Karen is a
Political savant.
No, she's a stuck-up Jamaican.
Oh, is that what it is?
Wow.
He said, Gary, James said, walking with a track is cheaper than finding a band.
You don't have to pay nobody. All that comes to you.
Yeah.
Or probably go to the Dream Academy.
Or they probably had it. They probably had that thing on there that said after singing, no clapping, no
That's
noise.
right. Sometimes they do that. Or they turn down the
monitor mics.
Bro, if you watched it, no clapping.
Nobody clapped, right? Okay.
Right. Gary said no.
Nobody clapped.
No clapping.
Wendell said he travels with a hard drive with tracks on it. Yeah,
hey, Wendell, I saw your nephew last week at Oakwood. I saw your nephew, who's in theology. He told me, I'm Wendell Timothy's nephew. Some big burly dude.
Nephew.
Yes.
Oh, that would be then his wife's family. I mean, because we know Chandler.
That's not Chandler got no kids.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said his wife's.
He said he was Wendell Timothy's nephew. That's what he said.
Got it. You know what I'd like to do real quick? I'd like everyone really quick, and let's give them a couple of minutes to put it in. I want to see where everyone's from. Where's your city or your state? Go ahead and put it in where your city or your state's from, because somebody just said that they was from Boston. Claudette just said she was from Boston. I just want to see who's where to call out your state, wherever it is that you're from.
So you know, Boston just got a new mayor.
That's right.
Asian descent.
That's right.
And so it's the first non-white elected.
Right. Elected.
Because the young lady before her, she got the spot because the mayor, I think, went and worked for Biden.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Gee, can we all call these out really quick before we continue with that?
Yeah.
We got Claudette. We just said that again, from Boston. What else do we have? We got Jeremiah. Okay, now we know, from Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
From Connecticut. We already know where Carolyn's from, Apollo Beach. We know where she's from.
Yo, Pat, where's Linthicum Heights? Where is that?
It's here in Maryland.
Yeah, I know, but where? Like where?
Linthicum Heights. I think it's over there by Hyattsville. I think that's where
Heights, or not like off going into Baltimore, right?
No. Linthicum Heights is on 295. You're going towards Baltimore. So you got Columbia. Linthicum Heights is where it's funny. Gary's wearing the shirt. It's where the Maritime building is, where they train for you know, the sailors, ships, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Anna is from Baltimore. We got Anna in Baltimore. Who said? Also, yeah, I didn't know Yoni's from here.
Hey, Wendell, his name is Keelan Crum.
I know
Crum. I know Crum.
He's very prominent on Instagram.
Yeah, good guy.
Yo,
good guy.
Let me tell you about when you finish going out. Let me tell you about Crum.
Upstate. Oh, come on, y'all. Owen is from. We knew he was there. Here go your girl, y'all, because y'all always talking about her.
Oh my gosh,
Leanne. She's gonna put all Brooklyn straight across.
Leanne, I'm gonna leave it right. Your sister owes me a call, so I'm gonna leave it right there.
Weshner said, "Where we from or where we at?"
Where you at? You can say it both ways.
Where you at is good. Take a Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, this is the dude when we first started had sent us like snacks and stuff.
Snacks, man, like plantain chips, and my man sent a tin of cheese.
That's right. That's right.
Wait a minute. I ain't get a piece of that.
Nah, it came this way.
Trying to tell you, man, it came this way, bro.
Came this way.
We're gonna just pause for a second and ask everyone who's on. Wait, I gotta pause. My girl Yvette Davis is on. That's my counselor now.
That's your counselor. Wow, that's deep. I
Yeah,
hope
that's
you're
my
paying her for all the for what she got to listen to.
Yeah, that's my counselor right there, man.
Man, Yvette
I
Davis.
know James was from the Bronx. He's in the Bronx.
Oh, he's in the
Bronx.
Bronx.
He works in the Bronx.
Oh, he works in the Bronx.
Yeah.
He works in the Bronx.
Monty.
Yo, y'all know this dude?
Yo, Chap.
That's right. It's the chaplain. Y'all know
That's
the
the Chap,
dude?
boy. That's the Chap right there. Yo, that brother can not preach, you know. That brother can preach.
Hold on, and he'll pray you. He'll pray you under the temple.
Yo, you pray you into heaven.
All right.
All right.
He'll pray you. Pray you.
So I got something to tell you, man. So when he first came to the church, right? I seen his wife. I'm looking at her. I'm like, what is college student in here with all these kids?
Right.
She looked like she's 20 something. You hear me, Pat?
Yeah.
And when I asked him, I said, "Oh, who's this person right here?" It's his wife. Looking on 20 something. Andrew Francis' wife is 23 years old.
Yeah, man.
And he 40 something.
He's the prayer. He's the prayer king right there.
All right.
Stuff. Good stuff. And then Rita Dixon. Rita, I'll see you tomorrow. They're having a I told you guys I used to have an elder in DuPont Park. She used to pray with me every morning for 3 years.
Really?
5 o'clock in the morning for 3 years.
That's my yeah. There's good people out there that does that.
That's right. 5 o'clock in the morning for 3 years straight. She prayed with me.
You can flip me over.
Okay. And that's her father passed away. So we're doing a memorial tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Rita, so just letting you know I'll be there. You know, I'll be there. Yeah, guys. Hey, can we do this real quick? Well, first of all, G, you know I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's up with your boy that's holding the Democrat that's holding back the vote, man?
Is that really a Wu-Tang shirt you got on?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Straight from the slums of Shaolin. Wu-Tang Killer Bees.
I'm sorry, I had to represent. I'm powered by cornmeal porridge.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Gee, you don't feel like talking about it? Huh?
No, we can't hear you. See?
Can't hear you, man. Can't hear you. You might have to go back.
Eric Adams silenced you.
How about
No,
now?
man. Oh, I can hear you. Good.
No,
What's your thoughts?
that's not all Joe Manchin's fault.
Okay.
Everybody know Joe Manchin is looking out for his people in West Virginia. That's a coal country.
Right.
And you know, when you're 45 years old and you're making money for coal, and you're telling me you're trying to put wind turbines across the country, you know, that's his. I told you this a long time ago. When Joe Biden got elected, it's going to be a war between the progressives and the moderates.
Sure, that's right.
And that's what's happening now.
It's happening right now.
And the second thing is, Joe Biden didn't get elected to be FDR. Joe Biden got elected to put some peace and dignity in the White House.
Back into the White House.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden's here. Everybody else is here.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, you're talking about 6 to 12 weeks off, you know, like they do in Europe. You know,
Right.
Rich people was like, nah. You know, the regular Democrats is like, nah, we need people to keep working.
That's right.
Because you
Right.
cannot be, I hate to say this, if you want to be rich or wealthy, you need somebody to make that money for you.
For you.
Right, exactly.
I got you.
So that's really what that's about. It's going to happen, but really what the Democrats are fighting against is the promise to the people who got you into power against the promise to people who is in power.
Gotcha.
So,
Owen said, "Gee, that's a lie." Manchin looking out for himself. And
yeah,
James,
but he's one of 50. But they knew
Yeah.
what you know who you're sleeping in, who you're sleeping with.
Yeah, Joe Biden got elected to not be Trump, like Gary said.
Yep, that's it. So
It's just like Trump was elected to not be what,
President Obama?
Yeah. To be the total opposite of him. to drain the swamp.
I don't know if that's totally right, Paul. I think you're right about that. What Trump did is appeal to people who thought that they lived in this country and didn't matter.
That's right.
So for instance, as bad as I think Donald Trump wanted to be at the funeral today, he couldn't, because there's about 15 to 20% that loves him because he does not show up to those things like that.
That's right. That's right.
So, because Trump is a media whore, and Trump is the master of public relations. Public relations goes for you whether it's good or whether it's bad. Because if he would have showed up today, that would have made more of a stir than him not being there today.
That's true. That's true.
But Gary, he has every right to be there.
Of course.
Yeah, he has every right to be there.
The man has $1 million travel budget because he's a former president of the United States.
Absolutely.
He can go anywhere, anytime.
That's right.
That's right.
So he's all right. Hey, Shay, what's up?
Yeah, I just saw. I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I know we have a adoption awareness that's coming up at 4:00, and for everybody out there.
Wait a second. What our producer? I'm trying to be funny. Our producer just wrote and said he was not invited.
Yeah, but you know what, producer? Trump has a way of finding himself where he wants to be.
Sure. Even if it's outside.
Because if he really wanted to say, it's like, I'm a former president, I want to send my respects, and the Republicans would have had a field day. The only reason that he didn't push back on that, because the whole event would have been politicized. Now you know better. The producer know how savvy she's savvy. She knows
savvy like that.
She knows herself.
She don't want to savvy like that. Yvette said that he hated things. He said hateful things against Colin Powell. So Trump was not wanted there. I mean, I get it. I get it. I just wanted to go through some of those things. Or what I was saying is that we have a show coming up. And with the end of our show coming up, we are talking about adoption awareness. This is Adoption
Awareness Month.
And we are bringing on Denise Lynette Defoe. She's coming on to talk about her journey as far as it's concerned. So we just want to let you know that that's number one. And for everyone who's online with us right now, if you take the time to share this with 2 people, just go ahead and share this with 2 people. Our sponsors would love to see that. So you just go ahead and share it with a couple of people and
comment and like.
Yeah, definitely comment and like, or whatever the case may be, so we can keep this thing rolling.
Don't forget, Pete.
I think we talked about
the Cash App.
I think we talked about this earlier, Gary, that Sabbath is going to be coming in earlier.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we got to get to the point for the winter.
We got to get to the point real quick.
I get to the point for the winter, man. So, and you know how that goes. We just going to have to be able to do that. Let me circle back around, Gary. So we were talking about politics, and I think that was the main thing that was going on this week. But talk to me about that Atlanta Braves.
Wait, Pat. Gary's boy is the mayor of New York.
Oh yeah.
Can't go further. That was Gary's boy from way back when he was like Brooklyn Borough and advocate for the police and all that kind of stuff like that.
Right. You sure right about
Gary,
that.
did you go to one of your concerts?
Yeah, back in the day.
I believe he was there.
But Eric Adams is friends with our boy, the Pembertons.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Real quick, Shay said she just stopped in for a little bit. She's on her way to a graduation. I don't know if you're flying.
No, not to a graduation, to her graduation.
Hey.
Yeah, congratulations, Shay.
I'm sorry. Congratulations. Before you go, let us know what you're going to be, what they're going to, what's the word?
They're going to confer upon you.
What they're going to confer upon
Look at Yvette, can't even stop. Look at Yvette, can't even hold back about the celebration of the Braves.
Celebration of the Braves is going on now. She said it's going on now in Atlanta, right?
So I got a confession for Yvette. I'm trying not to get in any trouble, right? So me and Paul was in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and Yvette was there. So Yvette, so I won't get in trouble. So Yvette's our sister from Oakwood, our Zeta sister. And let me tell you, it's sad. I hugged Yvette, and her hair smells so good.
Yeah.
Gary came back to
Went to the car.
the
I was, it's
Gary
true.
came back to the
car.
to the car. He said, "Yo, man, listen, that girl smells so good." See, I've been here all week. I ain't noticed her smell. Gary like, yo, her hair just smells so
Maybe
good.
she turned it on when I
when you
hugged
got
her.
there.
So when everybody at church hugs her, they don't smell it. But when she hugged me, I got love. Yvette always give me love. I was like, oh my gosh.
Hey, I got you guys. You see it just now. Shay said hers is in, guys, you see master's in healthcare administration.
All right, that's my side right there.
That's right. Glad one day we're gonna bring you on the show.
So what does Linda mean by that, Pat? What does Linda mean by this?
I just came on y'all talking about 46 and 1.
46 minus 1 is 45, which is Donald Trump, Paul.
Got it. Sorry.
Nobody wants to say it out loud.
Hey man, I can't even. You know what? You have to even be careful. I can't even say I was on the short bus because that's not the right thing to say anymore. So I was drinking something. You don't know what it was.
You should be ashamed to ask that question. That one you should have texted us from behind the scenes and then bring it out.
Go back to Yvette.
Wait. Yvette says she washed her hair every Sabbath morning.
Oh, so she didn't turn it on. I should have turned it on. All right.
So as a woman, how often do you wash your hair?
Maybe once or twice a week.
Once or twice a week?
But Yvette keeps her hair long. Right? So I guess if your hair is long, you probably have to wash it more often.
Well, ladies, put it out there. Ladies, real quickly. How often do you wash your hair, ladies? And how often do you wash your hair?
And even with braids, how do you keep that up?
Or even with locks.
Yeah. Somebody said once a week. She said she washes her hair once a week. Arlene she washes hers every day.
So Arlene has a long hair, right?
Yeah,
that's Mike's wife, right?
Yeah, that's Mike's wife.
Mike's wife.
Mm-hmm. Tori said weekly.
Tori says weekly.
You know, Tori is James' wife.
Wife.
Okay.
Tori, I mean, that's why everybody.
So I guess is there a difference between washing it every day and washing it once a week? Because men are nasty. We're all nasty. We just
well, we should be washing it while we're in the shower. I mean,
so that's what I mean. You wash your hair in the shower.
It's natural. So
what does that mean, Linda?
What does that mean, Linda?
Oh, she said every day. I guess you popped it out.
Oh, Linda said every day. Arlene, she has that.
Arlene has straight hair.
She's a
Puerto Rock.
Are you allowed to say that? Are we allowed to say
I don't know if she's Puerto Rican.
We're gonna lose our sponsorship with that crap. Can't say that.
That's not a bad thing to say.
I ain't saying
but the general people who we trying to.
She is Puerto Rican,
right? Or Latina, or Latinx.
Latina.
So, hey, you could be Latina. I got nappy hair.
She put it in. She said Puerto Rican. Yes.
And then you have to link.
New York, we say Puerto Rock. I know we do. We say Puerto Rock. I said Northeastern in New York. Arlene said Indian here. Got it.
Right.
Tori said she's locked. If she's locked, she said she washes it weekly. She washes hers weekly
because so. Even when my hair was out, you got to. It's a task in itself.
I got you, Charmetta. This is Windows.
That's Crumb's people.
That's right.
That's Crumb's people.
Aunt. Yeah. That's Crumb's aunt.
Yo, follow him on Instagram. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
So quick story about Crumb. Funny. So OU Confessions, right?
Right. I've heard of that. I never.
Okay, Pat.
I've heard of it, G, but I've never gone to it.
So OU Confessions came out of Andrew's Confession. So you can talk about anything on it with being anonymous. So I think Crumb is like the religious vice president.
Is he?
Of the school.
I think so.
I think he's the religious vice president, right?
And he's a sophomore.
Right. So Crumb is really like your super theology major.
Right.
He's kind of like I already started preaching and what have you. So everybody knows him, the southeastern part of the country.
Right.
So somebody said that they saw the religious vice president doing his duty in front of Blake Center. Because, there was a time in Blake Center for 6 weeks. People were getting caught out there
messing around and stuff.
Messing around. We're going to use it that, right?
Like messing around?
Messing around.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Brown messing around. Right?
Messing around.
So we're trying to keep it G-rated.
Right.
And so they accused him of it, and Crumb shut it down.
Stop it, Gary.
Crumb was like, If you look, you'll find it.
I don't ever check it out, but
You find it. So Crumb went back on them, and you know it was like, I'm a man of God. I will rebuke you. First John, so.
That's when you know. That's when you know you clean.
Yeah. And so somebody said it also. It was funny. It was like, so if the religious vice president want to get his, that's not your business. Crumb still went up there and was like, this is not what I do. I am not the Graham Boys. Yeah, Len, it's Blake. Yeah, so there's a spot in Blake that people. So you really got to go to OU Confessions and
I don't
look through it.
I don't mess around with that stuff. I don't mess
I let it go.
You know what? You know why it's funny? You know what's funny? Because the same thing they complain about 30 years ago, it's the same thing.
It's going on like right now.
The same thing.
This G-Man, besides social media, there is nothing new under the sun.
Social media just expose what you're doing.
That's right. It just makes it get to wherever quicker.
This is true.
It's the same thing. Everything is the same. It just gets there quicker.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing too. I would definitely say the same thing too. Wait, Shireen, hold on. Shireen Taylor, you said you like this shirt. I got this from one of your country women in England. Okay. It's Andrea Dawes. Andrea Dawes. I got it from Andrea Dawes. She got it for me. She's at Peckham Church. So she got that for me. Powered by cornmeal porridge. Best meal in the mornings, y'all. Best meal in the mornings.
I want to give a shout out to my people at Maritime College.
Well, go ahead. Talk to me about that.
Y'all look it up. You can see Maritime College is right here in the Bronx. It's probably the most beautiful place in the Bronx.
Gotcha.
So SUNY Maritime, State University of New York, Maritime College, they train shipmen there.
It's the same thing where Yoni live. Okay. Same thing.
So
shipmen, you're right.
So you go on that campus, and sometimes you see me. That's where I work out.
Okay.
On campus.
There go Jimmy.
So the people, my girl Loretta, she's from Yard. My boy Emmett, who does security there, and my boy Gary. When I go there, they kind of look out for me because I am trying to look for a space for my son's graduation and birthday. So they kind of help me out. So, I'm giving them a shout out with what they do there. I go there and work out.
Gary only giving a shout out because he want the space. You hear me, Pac?
I got the space already. So I'm just telling them that thank you. Y'all all invited because it's a nice space. I sent it to y'all.
First of all, let me be clear. You don't invite us.
Right. We don't get invited.
Let us know when it is.
That's right. It's true, Paul.
So invitation.
Paul, Paul, you're absolutely right.
Sure, you're gonna give me the cussing up on this piece.
So I can expect a nice 4-figure check.
You can expect
coming to my son.
You can expect your son to give everybody else a 5-figure check.
Right. Right. Hold on. Here's my question. How you invite us to your son's graduation and we have to give you money?
Isn't that the way it's done?
No. We give him
that boy went to school free.
Yeah,
that's not even true. Y'all up here sending the rumors.
He was go to free on scholarships.
That's not true.
That's why he's driving a BMW and live by himself. All right.
Oh my goodness, that's every day. That's not true. Tony drives.
Patrick, what is Tony driving?
BMW.
Tony drives that car, but Tony doesn't own that car.
I know you're older. I'm speaking. Yeah, Patrick. Who does he live with?
Nobody.
Tony lives with Gigi. Thank you.
The dog.
Gigi's a dog.
I live there once a month. I go down there once a month.
You don't live there. Not visit.
Who pays the rent? I own that property.
You don't live there.
That's right.
I live 2 places. I'm what they say bi-coastal. So
yeah, you bilingual. You talk English.
Or when you go down there, you can go down there. If we go to Pelk, we all can go down there.
Shay going online right now to March. Walk good. See you, girl.
Yo, Pat, you need to have this thing on that thing.
I got it.
Get some claps, man.
I got it.
Hey, Pat, don't forget to put the Cash App in the corner.
Got it.
Patrick.
Yep.
Patrick, Gary, Dorian says that Nyla wants us to be her godfather, Unu Rich.
Nah, if we were rich, we wouldn't put the Cash App in there.
That's right. Patrick, you know that Gary's bilingual. He speaks English and crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got it.
Wow.
I got it. Linda said, I was at Tony's high school, heard all the scholarships he was receiving, his graduation.
Speak, Gary, speak. Your servants are listening.
Nah, that's the other side of the lingual.
Oh.
The crap that I speak.
That's the other side of the. Hey, listen though. Can we just get a real flashback of last week with Brenda Walsh?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just absolutely
incredible, man.
It was, yeah.
So she gave us a shout out on her show.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about no soft shout out.
Right.
So we're working on the clips, and when we get the clip, we're gonna drop it on. She was like, I was on the show with Snacks with the Grams, and she said to Pablo, "You know the Grams?" And Pablo was like, "No." I said, "She like, those are my brothers." And then
when she walked out with the Oakland University shirt.
Well, that's the first thing.
I was
that was slamming.
So, all right. So we're gonna be a little what's the word? I'm looking for, transparent. So we're trying to work with our alma mater or what have you, and we was like talking to the person. We don't want to say like, yo, you see Brenda showed up with her OU shirt because she saw all of us with the OU shirt. First of all, her OU shirt was given to her free. We had to still
buy ours.
We had to still buy ours.
Yo, y'all got to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth though, Gary. And I'm gonna call her name Karen Ben. What's Karen's
Dr. Ben is a vice president. Paul, I try to keep her quiet, but I guess you.
Nah, man, you put her out there. Listen, Dr. Ben gave me a whole bunch of paraphernalia.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think any of these can fit Gary. She's like, tell Gary to come and get whatever he wants. Tell Gary to get whatever he wants. I'm like, no. Gary not gonna. We got all the. I'm not gonna. It's not cheap shirts, right? We got all the giveaway shirts. She's like, tell Gary to go to the store, get whatever he wants. We give him whatever he wants. I was like, what? So don't say. So gee, I'm trying to tell you, man. You be getting away with murder when it comes to.
I had to buy a shirt.
Well, you should have told her.
I got next time I go down there, I'll see if I get it. So
check Yoni really quick. Go ahead and check Yoni really quick. She said about her story. She was like, her story truly disturbed me. I made a mistake of sharing it with my sister. She's still cussing.
Wow. Wow.
So Brenda says that I talked about. They sang, the song "Grace, Grace, God's Grace." He was singing this, and she was talking about God's grace. She said, "I was on the show with Snacks with the Grams." She said 5:30 every Friday, and then she said, "All three of them are a powerhouse."
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
She said we're a powerhouse in our own right, and then she said, "You know what they did? They said." They wave because every time you get on the show and you're a guest, you have to say who's your favorite Gram.
Right.
And she said, I love them all. She said, and they waved it for me.
Wait, Dr. T says sing G because I thought Gary, you were gonna go into the chorus. I thought you were
but I do want Gary to do it. Go ahead, Gary. Grace. And then
go ahead, Gary.
I sang it already. I'm not
No.
Y'all embarrassed me last week about doing that preaching stuff. I'm not going to do that. Boy, I'm not going to do that because you see how they embarrassed me last week about trying to preach. Get out of here.
Everybody who's online, please say sing Gary. Just write it, sing Gary. Come on, Pat.
What do you want me to do?
There you go. The dog just barked. Woof. Grace, grace, God's grace. And that's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to rock right now.
You know the rest of it?
I hope Daddy's not watching this and you don't know the rest of that song.
You watching Judge Judy. Dad watching Judge Judy, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I kid you not. I was there the other day. I went 2 days in a row chilling with him, right? We sitting up on the, his armchair?
Yeah, Sits the one to the left.
The one to the left, right? So
Right.
mom sits in the one to the right. So I sat up in mom's armchair while in his, because he doesn't see so well. I moved. Somebody said, Jamal, we need more grace. I moved his table. He has a little table that he keeps everything right here.
Right.
And I moved it to eat on. And he was like, yo, who moved the table? I was like, yo, who moved the table? He was watching. That's Not My Baby. I mean,
he watches those judge
this
shows,
is
the divorce shows, and Jerry
Mabel, Judge Mabel.
No, this is your child. What, come on, y'all.
Maury.
Maury.
No, I was telling Nilsa that what Maury is for who is the father, Dr. Phil is for white women getting scammed by African men. You ever watch Dr. Phil? Like every other episode is some 20-year-old African man is scamming some middle-aged women in middle America.
I saw that one, Gary. I saw that one.
It's true. The majority of the shows are like that.
But Dr. Phil, I saw this one the other night, that there was a man that was called the cart something. Like he'll go to a place, right? And if you don't bring back your cart to the place where the cart belongs, he shames you. And he puts a picture up. He has a little video camera here, and he posts you. And he has millions and millions of people that watch. You know what I'm saying?
And if you go to Walmart and they'll put your cart back in
he will follow you and say you need to put your cart back, but he antagonizes them. And he's like a millionaire because he posts it on YouTube.
I mean, you get money for
and it's like millions of views, so he's getting money.
Like the guy who does this. You ever seen that one?
No,
that guy's a millionaire.
Nah, it's the one where this guy be pulling pranks in Walmart. He be going to people's ear and be like, "Oh,
yeah."
You gonna get slapped.
No. Look, you need to go to the African guy.
That's it. The cart nut. The cart nut. That's it.
All right.
I'm gonna look it up.
You better look it up, Pat. This guy goes around. See, you're gonna give him another view, but this guy goes around, and if you take your cart right and you don't put it back. So what he did, let me tell you, this black guy, he did it to this black guy. And when the guy was backing out, he put the cart in front of it. Yo, Dr. Phil said, there was a guy on there, an enforcer, a law enforcement that said, you detained him.
Oh, snap.
He said, you can sue him for detaining you, and he's not a police officer.
Wow.
And he did not break a law. And that black brother was like, looks like I'm gonna be getting something from you.
I want to tell you that what I'm having a problem with is, and I know this is not on the run sheet.
Do they curse on it? Because I don't want to play it if they curse on it.
No. I think it's bleeped out.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Or it was for the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just don't want to. Go ahead, Gary. You were saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm really getting a lot of anxiety over Ahmaud Arbery's
that case.
That there's only one black juror down there, and I'm also having a problem with what's going on with Kyle Rittenhour in Minnesota. That's really tough for me right now.
Before we go on,
I knew it wasn't on the run sheet, but
it doesn't matter if you know it. But give me the two. First of all, I'm gonna let you know this. I believe, I know I'm gonna get hit on this. They ain't have to have any black jurors. The videotape shows it.
Thank you. What do you need a black juror for?
No. But I understand you. The jury is supposed to be an even kill. Is supposed to show.
But you know that the prosecutor and the defense has to agree who's on the jury.
Yeah,
it is true.
Okay. This is a shut case. This is a shut case, and don't let it get. You don't think so, Gary?
No, because even though guilty, the issue is not the fact that they're guilty; is what sentence are they going to get?
That's my problem. They're going to be guilty.
But they tried to hide all of that. If it wasn't for the videotape,
listen, they're going to shut it down. I'm sorry, Gary. They're going to shut it down so quick. for the way they tried to
hide
bury
it.
what happened
Yeah.
with politicians. So you're gonna see this thing is gonna come out quick. It's gonna be done. Now you're right, Paul. We may not get murder and life for it, but I mean, look at what's going on with George Floyd. Yo, he's gonna get out, you know.
Yeah, 30 years.
That's 30 years. He's not getting out.
Okay, you'll see.
He's not getting out, Pat. How he's going to get out?
You'll see.
Pat.
On the appeal, you'll see.
Pat.
If our show lasts long enough, we'll be on it here, and you'll see that he's gonna come out.
Yo, Pat, let me be clear about this, man. If they let this guy out, it's going to be a riot before this time.
Pat, the reason why George Floyd's killer is not going to get out, because they already got away with, they tried to change police protection in Minneapolis, right?
Right.
And the reason why that didn't come through, because everything calmed down. That man gets out, they're going to try to change. This country wants to try to keep and preserve.
Go ahead.
Yo, listen. I'm going to say this, and it may sound racist, right? It may sound racist, but they are upset that this white man killed this black man too openly.
I agree with that.
I'm trying to tell you, it's like those white people are like, yo, you messed it up for everyone who's shooting people at picnics.
Paul, you know what? You said something, and I'm going to try to help bring the temperature down with the truth, because we're trying to move into a middle. A lot of people of color feels that white man does not get disciplined to the fullest extent of the law until they embarrass
the rest of
the norm.
Uh-huh.
So those three white men embarrassed the norm, just like what happened to John Gruden. John Gruden was writing those racist slurs all along. And you notice the NFL shut that down because you haven't heard about the recipient. If people really heard what all three of us talked about behind the scene, we wouldn't have a job. I'm just saying.
You mean Pat wouldn't have a job?
Listen,
Pastor Tapp is my president. He good.
I'm gonna hurt your feelings right now, Paul.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hurt your feelings right now.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kyle Rittenhouse. So Kyle Rittenhouse, the people who got shot.
Yeah.
The judge made sure that the prosecutors or in the trial, they do not be reflected as victims, but as rioters or looters.
Right.
Because the word victim is termed as loaded.
Sure. That's right. That's right.
So big shout out to Aunt Hazel.
Yeah.
So
friends.
Yeah. So you have to try to keep some type of balance, whether it's color, racial, or economics, where that is concerned.
I like what Lynn got to say, Gary. I like what Lynn got to say.
Shenanigans. Well, there are rules. You have to pick people within the county. One of the jurors got kicked off Rittenhouse because they made a joke about Jacob Blake.
Yes,
which Garrick Garland's Justice Department did not prosecute the police officer who shot him in the back. He's walking away, right. But he's going to get paid $8-9 million, just like the people down in South Carolina got paid all those millions of dollars. And so, we have to realize it's more than money. We have to protect our generations in the future, that they can drive and
walk, jog,
right.
Exercise,
Look,
drive,
like the white lady who said that she will not do a day in jail because of the riot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, because I have a quick switch for you.
Okay, but she went there for 60 days. But the reality of that is that's still a drop in a bucket compared to the amount of black and brown people who gets the extensive amount of years for small crimes.
Right. For small crimes.
So my understanding is that JFK Jr. is coming back to Dallas.
Yeah, that's done. That got cooked.
It's finished already?
Yeah. And I have a problem with that too, because as Seventh-day Adventists, we're gonna be looking for Christ to come, and it'd be like, y'all just like QAnon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
but the difference is that
our authenticity is done, man.
No, it's not. But Gary, come on. Jesus is not showing up in Dallas alone, okay? Every eye shall see him.
Yeah, but regular people put that together. Did you see you didn't see the wait, you guys are from the NAD. You saw the NAD survey that like Adventists is like 13 out of 17.
Yes, not liked.
Wait a minute. And then somebody posts like, we don't even like each other.
You know who did that? Dave Defoe did that. Dave put it up there. It's like, wait a minute, we don't even
like each other.
I commented on that one.
So wait, hold on, Pat. I'm a little bit behind. What's that?
It's a but I have to be honest with you. Even though it was a stat that had come out, but it's a faulty stat. I have to say.
No, I'm not talking about that stat. I'm talking about JFK.
QAnon.
Paul.
Hold on. No, you don't got to take it out, Gary. Let's just take them out altogether. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, that's the backup system right there.
Yeah, they just believed that JFK was coming. Hey, Gary, it's the same thing when they thought that Trump was going to be in power on January 6th.
And in August
that was coming up.
Yeah, you got to watch the political landscape, because what happened in Virginia, the Democrat shot himself in the foot when he said that parents should not control their what kids are being educated about.
Right. That's the whole thing with the books.
So
books and what have you.
So what happened with critical race theory and teaching it in school? Here's the bottom line. When you watch Ruby Bridges and all those people, when they march and they go into school, and all the white people behind them that's throwing rocks at them, okay? And you always say, I wonder where those people are. Those people's grandkids are stopping us from learning that was their grandparents doing that. Because then you find out, oh, my great-grandfather was the sheriff in that town, or, I've lived in this. So you find out that who is that? So, the time, because of this country is in a place, there's a lot of great white people. We have a lot of good white friends and stuff like that. But one of the things what people say is that, well, that was my great-parents or my great-grandparents that did that, not me.
Right.
But I could tell you, if everybody's transparent, everybody in their household grew up and say, stay away from that person because they're from that country, or stay away from that person because their family's like that. And we're never gonna out. We're never gonna out our parents.
They do that in church, much less. They do that in church, much less territory.
So that's like somebody, 2 generations from now, write an Adventist book about the trials of Lloyd Graham, how dirty he was and whatever. It's like, nah, you got to stop that. So that's what's really happening. So in order to turn the country around, you really got to tell the truth. And that whole thing started with the 1619 project that they tried to shut down in 2019. Why y'all laughing at me?
No,
listen, let me be clear, Gary. No one is laughing at you.
Right. And that's the honest truth.
That's the honest truth. It's just something that happened that if you would kindly listen to Patrick, right?
It's okay.
You can see things. That's all I'm saying.
There's Philip said it is generational
guilt.
Yep.
Big shout out to Phil Wesley.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. He is what I like about Phil and what he's doing right now. He is visible at what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Visible at what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. You knew Hollywood. Pat, you knew Holly was going to say something.
Who?
Holly.
Yeah. Ain't listen. Anything black, Holly gonna say something about.
Big shout out to Annalisa Moo Yin.
Yeah. She had.
Did she send you a prayer today?
She sure did. Oh,
Joe.
I feel foul, so I thought I was the only one.
I knew it wasn't. Listen, I knew I wasn't the only one when it began saying, and for those, and for them, and for so at the end. But let me tell you something,
I was feeling all special when I got it.
I was like, I was in tears.
Did Pat get any? Pat,
did you get one?
Did you get one?
Yo, let's pause for a second. Yo, let me tell you something. And
Paul, pull it up.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Hold on a second. Make sure it's not copyrighted, because Anna Lee she want her money.
Yo,
Now
What
let me
is she?
stop.
What do you mean? She sent it how? On what?
yo,
She sent it on Messenger to all the men.
to all
And,
the men.
so she's like a prayer warrior. Anyway, Paul,
Yeah.
Annalisa, you need to get with me and Paul so we could get you on the on the circuit.
I'm not even going to play the whole thing. I'm not even going to play the whole thing. Let me tell you something. When you hear this, right? If I was planning on sinning, right? If I was planning on sinning,
Paul, you do plan to sin.
If
what
I was planning to sin,
Paul is the reason why we have generational curses.
That's right. That's right.
I'm praying for the man that is listening right now, God. I pray supernatural breakthrough over his life. God, I pray, Father God, that you'll cause his eyes to see and to see afar off. I pray that you'll open up his hearing, that he will hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. I pray that you'll open his mouth to speak the oracles of God. And I pray that God, you will cause his feet not to be swift to move into destruction. God, I pray today, Father God, for this man, Father God. I pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I pray, Father God, that you'll give him the tools to be successful in this life. I pray today for witty ideas and witty invention, creative ability, God. I pray, Father God, that let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus. I pray, Father God, that he will seek you early and he will find you. You will knock and the doors will be open. I pray against every diabolical system that is set up against him to fail. God, I pray today, Father God, against mental illness, bipolar disorder, high blood pressure, diabetes, anything that is in his body that will set him to fail. God, I come against it right now in the name of Jesus. I come against the spirit of whoremonger. I come against the spirit of perversion. I come against the spirit of lying. I come against the spirit of deception in the name of Jesus. And I pray, Father God, that every yoke is destroyed this morning in the name of Jesus. I plead the blood over his mind right now in the name of Jesus, God. That God, he will seek you for the answers, God. I pray that you will lead well in the name of Jesus. I pray, Father God, that you said a wise man has great power and a man of knowledge increased strength, God. I pray that his strength is increased today. God, you said personal growth leading to promotion. So God, I pray today, God, that you will cause what he do to lead to promotion. God, give him witty ideas in the market.
That's good.
In the name of Jesus, God. And God, everything that is set against him, God, I break it now in the name of Jesus. I plead the blood now, oh God, over decisions that he will make, God, that he will make the right decisions, God. But you said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and everything else will be added. And so, God, I pray that, God, everything that he needs, God, he will seek you for it in the name of Jesus. I come against every strange woman. I come against every strange man. I come against every seducing spirit, God.
Come on, man. Come on.
Y'all know what to put in the chat. Is there one?
Let me tell you something.
That prayer. You gotta send me that prayer.
Let me tell you something. It is real. It is real. Look what said. Please send that prayer so that we wives will cover our husbands. Man, let me tell you something, man. That was devastating. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So Gary, so this is the perfect time to say that for all of our men, every morning at 5 in the morning, we have about maybe 60, 70 people that are on right now. That Emphasis Men's Ministry and Full
Bible
Circle and Bible Boot Camp
right,
is linking together. This morning, man, Jamal Moore, Pee Wee, killed it, man.
Awesome.
Killed it this morning. So thank you for that prayer. And Lisa, thank you so much.
I don't know what just happened, but that was a prayer.
You know,
listen, I stopped it at 3 minutes, my friend. It went to 6 minutes.
Dig it. Send it, Paul.
That's a Dave Defoe kind of prayer.
That's it. But I can tell you this. I stole this. I want everybody to know I stole this from Dave Defoe.
I'm just very happy, almost bringing tears to my eyes, that everybody knows when that goes down. That's the "Is There One" theme.
Is there one?
Right. One. So that means if you get a "Is There One," that means you have you have
Reggie said I need to be saved again.
yeah. So big shout out to Anna Lisa. I know she's in the chat.
She's in the chat. She probably
and
went
and,
in
and,
out.
and she's very humble. So
I
that's
also
okay.
believe she has a line of clothing. Doesn't she have a line of clothing?
I
think she has a line of clothing.
She's all around. I'm gonna reach out to her so we could get her out before the 30 days, Paul, so we could get her in the mix.
Listen,
So,
let's make our switch over.
Hey, Pat, it's almost 4:00. Our guest.
So, G, tell me, how did you? What made you get on to get Denise Lynette Defoe? What made you get her?
Because I like her eyes.
I like her hair.
Guys, come on, man.
Because that's your friend's wife.
Nah,
you just mad because your friend's wife.
That's your friend's wife.
We can't say nothing about her.
I mean, and Dave Defoe is
right
big.
Now, pray for Paul and Gary.
That's why we got the prayer, and you didn't.
That's right, Pat. You got the prayer. Well,
listen. So I know.
Talk to me.
I know that this is Adoption Awareness Month.
Yeah, but I wanted to know, out of everyone who we know that's adopted, what made you, Gary, pick her?
There's more people that are adopted, but Denise took the bull by the horns, and she wrote a book about it.
Yep.
And she has become an ambassador in our bubble, where that is.
Well, now this week has been outside of our bubble now.
Right.
Since this week.
I wanted to talk about that when she comes up. She's about to and I know Holly. You saw Holly just put she's making people who are adopted sound like she said there's more of us.
Yeah.
That's right.
You see how there's a community there that I don't even think that our bubble has even received. I mean, I've come to find out there's people that we're side by side with
that's adopted.
That's adopted. Name has been changed.
Right.
You think is like, you joke around and say to me, it's just like, oh, Gary, you're adopted. But if I was adopted, people will still think that we're the grandbrothers because we kind of look the same. People grew up in the same family, they all look the same. You find out like, well, Paul is adopted, but I thought he was a twin. And so
look at Dorian. Dorian has a little one.
That's right, Paul. That's the other side of it. Parents who adopt children, right?
And you probably want to hear. You probably want to hear like
Dorian's child is adopted.
Yes.
I thought she had the. Oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah. And you see, because of the pandemic,
right? You don't see anybody.
People don't know, and then so you wonder what would Dorian say to somebody like Denise. You see where I'm coming from,
right?
So what can Denise say to somebody like Dorian?
So what happened is, you're right. Dave Defoe was one of my closest friends, and I remember when she was coming out with this, I immediately felt, I know Dorian. She's like, "Where you been, Pat?" I'm sorry. I was like, "I'll tell you later."
Wait, hold on. Can I say this, Pat, real quick before you say this? That's one of the most adorable children.
I hear you.
Yes. That you what's her name adopted a child too? From Philadelphia, my colleague.
Nayoka.
No, not Nayoka.
Remember, Nayoka she was praying through that. Armina.
Right? Armina. That's what I'm talking. Armina has so there's a whole community, and one thing I like what we do with us, the church don't talk about it. We talking about it.
That's right.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why is because so let me just say it from my end, because when I found out that Denise was adopted, I was like, this can't be. I mean, she looked like her father. You know what I mean? I'm like,
exactly. Exactly.
What are you talking about? It can't be,
Well, guys, before we go into it, remember this. Remember, I had a little girl for like 2 months.
I remember.
Right.
And her name was Patricia.
That's right. I remember, Paul.
And we were moving down. When we were moving down here, I was looking for a 3-bedroom because I had two girls. I had 2 girls and a boy. And
you don't remember that?
Yeah.
I still have her picture.
I still have her picture. And I'm going to say this, right? Because I'm not going to put mom and dad on a chopping block, or put Wendy's parents on the chopping block, so to speak. But when you don't have when your parents don't understand adoption,
Right.
or when a certain generation doesn't understand adoption, and I wasn't working. Do you remember I wasn't working at the time? It became so difficult. Let me tell you, I cried for like almost 2 weeks when I had to hand that baby back.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
but you know, Paul, I don't think it's the situation of understanding that they understand. I think the problem is that most people feel it's taboo, or most people feel like, you know, the responsibility is something that you shouldn't. You're going overboard, you know, or you're going over too much, or whatever the case may be. All I know is that when she started with her book, a little bit before her book, when I found that out, I started to follow her because she was doing it online before the book.
I remember that.
Online. So I was like, okay, what's the new update? What's the new update? And everybody started following her. What's the new update? What's the new update? Now, let me tell you a flip. All right, before she comes on. All right. I have a friend. You all know who she is, but I'm not going to say anything until I get her permission. She just met her mother. Talking about 6, 7 weeks. Okay. She just met her mother. And the first 2 weeks was like, wow, beautiful, beautiful. Mom's turned on her and was like, your kids are ugly, can't be mine. A whole bunch of other things that followed. It's a grown woman, but it affected her, and it's affecting her even now. You know, so some people may say, should you go? You know what? Let's just do this.
Bring her on. Just bring her on.
Bring Denise on, because it's going to be.
Because we can talk forever on what we don't know.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly. So,
and as she's coming on now, we're going to ask everyone who's on just to share this with 2 to 3 people at this point. We want to kick off our month with the beautiful hair of.
Listen, I remember when she went natural.
Oh my gosh.
I remember when she went natural.
Pat, look at the foe.
Well,
look what the foe putting on there.
He said that girl. That girl fine. Oh my goodness. Denise,
so Denise, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
I invited her, so I get the introduction, right?
Oh, okay.
Denise, thank you for being on the show. We are honored to have you on the show. And I do apologize. I'll be very public. We tried to get you on the show from last month, and she said, "No, Gary, it's next month." But we're not sending her congratulations on.
Gary thought it was your husband with the domestic violence last. Okay, that you be beating Dave. That's what.
See, now you understand why we're not going to stay on for 15 minutes, right? I did tell you, right? So
I see now.
Right.
Well,
but anyway, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. And right before we start everything, let's make sure we put her book in the chat.
Yeah, we'll grab
it. So we'll grab it right away. Right. And we're non-traditional. So first start with your book, and then Pat will start with the question so we could get as much traction for the book.
What about me? What about me?
Gary,
what about me?
I know I'm trying to get serious with this, but when I said that she be beating Dave, look what Dave put. I like it.
I know this. I know.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
Okay, let's stay focused. Yeah, I guess I want to put it out there. Denise, before we get to all that, when did you, I don't know, I'm a little uncomfortable, but let's go with it.
Ask anything you want.
When did you first become aware that you were adopted?
Probably when I was around 7 or 8. I've always known I was adopted. So it was never a conversation that was like, all right, let's sit down and talk, but you didn't come from mommy's tummy. Like, it wasn't anything like that.
Okay.
Always known. And I can't tell you what age I found out, but I think that I really realized that I was adopted. I wrote it in my book. I went to San Diego Academy. I was born and raised in San Diego. And one afternoon, we were in after school care. My parents are educators, so they didn't leave school until school was over and the last kid was picked up. So that I was often in aftercare. And so one afternoon we were watching Annie, White Annie. And
but there's only one White Annie.
Well, like,
there's yeah.
So,
okay.
So in the film, she is singing a song outside of the girls' home that she was in called Maybe. And it kind of fantasizes what she thinks her parents probably were. And one of them says, bet you they're smart, bet you there's something, bet they collect ashtrays and art. Something about, I can never remember the lyrics right now. I got my COVID booster this morning, so I'm a little like, but one of the lines says, their one mistake was giving up me. And I remember sitting in aftercare, just like tears filled my eyes. And I don't remember crying. I just remember being able to identify with that and wondering, oh my God, like I'm adopted. So what does that mean? That means that there are two adults out there who are probably my parents. Who are they? Are they looking for me? Do they want me back? What could they be doing? Are they getting their life together? Like, it was just a lot of questions that I didn't know how to ask anyone. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't going to ask my parents that. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. So that's when I really realized I was adopted and that I did not come from my parents. I was not, my mother did not have me. Give birth.
Wow. And so I guess the next question will be, how did that journey actually, I'm sure the journey began before social media.
Yeah.
Saw your journey. When did the journey actually begin? I Gary and Paul, I have a little advantage over it because I've watched it all the way till she traveled there and met.
And I remember that.
And all of that. So can you tell us exactly? Okay, we got that, the awareness. Or what about when you said, I'm going to start looking? How did that part happen?
So in high school, I began to get more curious about the woman that gave birth to me and left me in the hospital. I had a lot of anger and resentment about that. And I couldn't, I couldn't accept why I wasn't enough for her to stop whatever it is that she was doing, whether it was drugs. I mean, I was born with drugs in my system. So I knew that, there was opioid addiction going on. And I couldn't understand that. Now, there was nothing wrong with my parents, my adoptive parents. They were perfectly fine. They did everything they could for me. They loved me. They nurtured me. They affirmed me. They gave me every and anything I needed, wanted, whatever, right? But there was still that piece of me that was missing, that biological piece that I didn't understand.
Right.
And
go ahead.
And so
I'm sorry. Those were the words of the song somebody put in there. Go ahead, please.
So I just needed to understand, like, why? And so I remember in high school, during the summers, there were a lot of shows, reunion shows. It was like the 90s. And everyone was finding their long lost sibling, their long lost parent. I remember, I can't remember, it was Jenny Jones or some talk show. And at the end of the show, I remember watching these shows and just crying. Like, oh my God, my parents could be out there. Oh my God, my siblings, if I have siblings, they could be out there. Like, I want to go on these shows. I want to see what's going on. I want to try. I remember one day there was a number that flashed at the end of one of the talk shows was 1-800-BIG-HUGS. And I remember writing it down and I said, I'm gonna file it away for later. Well, I asked my parents, how would you feel if I looked for my biological family? And they were like, it's fine, whatever you want to do, whatever information you need, we have it. They had albums and albums of my case notes, foster care notes, home study notes, pediatrician notes, every single thing that you could think of. And so they told me, anything you want to find, go in the basement and look for it. So I remember going in the basement and just looking through everything. And of course, at 16, 17, my understanding of it then is different from now. So I didn't quite know what I was looking at. So I said, okay, let me call the hospital. Let's start with the hospital. And I didn't really want a lot of help. Like, I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want my parents I just needed to be able to process it and understand it on my own. So I remember calling the hospital and speaking the vital records. And I was 17 at the time. And I remember calling. It took so much courage for me to do it because I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, what if I actually find someone? What if they don't want to be found? What if they reject me again? So it was just a lot going on in my mind. And so I called and the lady said, well, we can't give you any information until you're 18. So I was like, it was like a door slammed in my face. And, immediately you might think, well, just call back when you're 18, right? And I was like, it just took so much out of me to even pick up the phone to call. I didn't have the strength to do it again. So years went by. I went to Oakwood. Before I went to Oakwood, I ended up writing Oprah a 14-page letter, front and back. I was like, anybody can find my mother. Oprah can find my mom. I said, I'm gonna do it. Send it to her. I wrote the most heartfelt letter. My girlfriend was like, yeah, we going on Oprah. And I was like, yeah, girl, we about to be famous. And I got scared. I was like, I don't want to be on TV more. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed on national television. Like, what if people what if Oprah can't find them? What if they're all dead? What if they don't want to meet me? What if I go on, like, it was like national television. I was like, I don't want to be on TV that bad. Like, and I don't want this to be a publicity, not publicity, but a whole like thing. Like, this is a big deal. So I never sent the letter. I had it until I moved out, until I got back from graduate school and I got rid of it. But it was just that fear of rejection, the fear of the unknown. I was like, I can't go through this. So I went to Oakwood, became a social work major, started learning more about what my adoption really meant to me. Like, for so many years, I had so much anger and resentment towards my mom. I was like, you know, you're so selfish. How could you give me up? Like, you couldn't even get it together. I heard that my mom was a twin. So I said, where was your twin sister? Like, just stuff. Like, where's your where are my grandparents? Where, you know, and then, you know, so just a lot. And when I was at Oakwood, we had to do a paper about introspection and what brought us to become social workers and why we chose this major. And I remember writing about, they asked us to write about a significant event in our life. And I couldn't think of anything. I was like, nothing's happened. Like, I don't know. And so I was like, well, I'm adopted. I can always use that. But I was like, but a lot of people are adopted. Who cares? Like, my life wasn't bad. Like, what's the thing that brought me to social work? Adoption? Not really. But I used it. And I started writing, and I thought to myself, I started writing about how mad I was at my mom and all this stuff. And then I sat back and I realized, I was like, wait a minute. I'm sitting in college. I have a car. I have a great family. I've not been without. Like, adoption saved my life.
Wow.
My entire perception of what adoption was for me. And I began to recognize that it was the biggest blessing in my life. Now, you'll meet a lot of adoptees that don't feel the same way as me, and everyone is entitled to that. There's so much uniqueness in everyone's stories. You know, some people were adopted into terrible families. Some people never felt a part of their family. That was not my story. And so I began to recognize that my mom, by giving me up, put me first. She ended up putting me first because she knew that what was going on in her life, what was going on around her, could not accommodate me. But it took me a while to get there. And eventually I forgave her because I understood that she wanted to give me another chance at life.
Wow.
She knew that what was going on around her, she didn't want me around that. And so by relinquishing me, it gave me a second chance at life. And so that's the cliff notes of the book. But I ended up writing the book. One of my mentors, Beverly Robinson, was talking to some of my girlfriends in 2017 about 2017. It was New Year's of 2018, and she was talking about the power of our story and how much we have, how much impact our stories in our life have, and women, and just sisterhood, and just all of it. And she went around the room. There were about 8 of my girlfriends there. And we were all just talking about our story and just our impact and just how much we can pour into each other. And she went around the room and asked everyone, like, what is your story? And I was like, God, please don't come to me. I have no story. I don't know my story. I have no story. And so it got to me and I was like, ugh. And I was like, well, I'm adopted. But then I was like, that's like, there's nothing big about me being adopted. Again, my life was fine. Like, there was no trauma. Like, I was okay. And so I said, well, I'm adopted. And she was like, that's your story. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you need to tell your story for Dana. She needs to understand why mommy loves her so much.
Wow.
Burst into tears, because anything that has to do with my child is just like so emotional for me. And I was like, you're right. I do.
You know, I'm so glad you said Dana's name, because I'm going to tell you what happens in the background here. We'd be like, okay, who's asking the next question? Or, you know, we're like, you know, let's ask this or let's ask that. And the question that just came up was, you know, how does it impact Dana? And you just said it. You know what I'm saying? How does it impact Dana? Or how does it impact you as it pertains to Dana?
So the story began to be birthed in January 2018. And I wrote from January 2018 to December of 2018. And then I began editing and released the book June of 2019. As I was writing the book and I was going to my parents to see, was there anything I missed? I wanted to make sure the timeline made sense. Because I mean, I know things, but I've never written it out like this for publication, to be sold to people, to be told the story, to actually tell the story over and over again, right? So I was talking to them, and Dana was there. She was like, "Mommy, you're adopted?" And I was like, "Oh, I never told you."
Wow, this is crazy.
Mommy's tummy, and I was like, "Oh no!" I said, "Let me sit down and talk to you about that." It didn't even cross my mind that she, like, at the time, what is she, 10 now? She was what, 6, 7, 8? I don't, and so I didn't realize that she didn't know. So we had a long conversation. She was like, "Your mom didn't want you." And I said, "Well, my mommy couldn't take care of me," and just explaining that she was dealing with a lot of addiction, and she'd been in and out of jail, and just telling her just very age appropriate things. But just, this is why, and I'm so thankful that Mimi got me, and that, this life, I wouldn't have you, wouldn't have daddy, blah, blah, blah. So it impacted her because she felt that I was very brave in telling my story. She read my book for the first time, page cover to cover, in the summer.
And guys, just in case you don't know, Dana is a big reader.
Yeah,
she's just a big reader. She reads everything. So to be able for her to sit down and actually read this and then comprehend this, was it more of that she was? Did you unpack it in the book for her to understand? And did she get it?
Okay. She got it. Because as I was writing, she would read little drafts that I would lay around, and so she understood, and we would talk things through. Being a mother, I think someone asked me, how was it for me? I don't know. Becoming a mother was a huge deal for me because at the time, she was the only person that I knew that had my DNA. She was the only person that shared my blood. So it was so impactful for me. Like, my entire pregnancy, like, I loved being pregnant. I loved feeling every kick. I loved going to see her on the sonograms. I loved everything. It was frustrating because I didn't have medical history. So every time I went to the doctor, it was like, "Well, does your mom have a history of fibroids? Does your mom have a history of Down syndrome, muscular dystrophy? We need to know all this history to prepare you for your baby." And I'm like, I don't know, it's a guessing game. 40-week walk, fake walk. I don't know. Let's just pull it together.
It's so amazing because I would never even think of something I would never even think of something like that. What you just mentioned to me, I'm just like, wow, that's new.
That's a whole really new world.
Scariest 40 weeks ever. Like, I literally was like, I don't know if there's a history of preterm labor. I don't know if there is a history of, I don't know. So I'm just like, Lord, do it.
And here's the other side, guys. If you had one side, you could at least give half the information. Yeah. But to be able to say, "Hey, I don't know," and that now to depend on God to be able to go the rest of the way. Yeah. This is a gift, and she came out perfect. Y'all, I know, and she came out perfect.
It's really tough. Sorry, it's really tough hearing you say that also because our family has different issues. High blood pressure, glaucoma. Well, this is the first time we found us with our dad with prostate because the brother, I think the daddy's brother have it back. Uncle Calvin, whatever it is. My mother says to us, "You're 40 now. Your father so and so and so and so." My mother says, "You're 50 now. Your father so and so, whatever." There's so many different. You can't eat salt like that. This is from when we were teenagers. You can't eat salt like that. I can still remember mom saying that, guys. You guys remember? And she would always say, "Because your father has this on his side and I have this on this side." And when we're trying to break that generational curse of sickness or catching it early. When you said it, I was like, oh my gosh, you're swinging on a swing and you don't know what's holding you.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And thanks for bringing that out because I would have never even thought about that kind of anxiety.
So I want to bring that up as well as when David and I we hadn't gotten married yet. It was like a couple months before our wedding. I felt a lump in my breast and I was 20. We got married. I was 27. Yeah, I was 27 and I was scared. And I went to get they do some scans and that sort of thing. And to see, and I was like, oh my God, first thing they asked is medical history. And I was like, I don't know, like, does cancer run in your family? Did your mom have breast cancer? Did she have a history of lumps? Do you always, I'm like, I don't know. So thankfully it was nothing. But then going forward, I had another one and I had to advocate to get a mammogram because they were like, well, you're not 40. And I'm like, I don't have any medical history. I'm asking for a mammogram because I don't know. I don't want to wait till I'm 40. I'm 32, 33. I'm asking for this because I feel a lump. I'm having, and I can't tell you if there's a history of this. So I need you all to you know, if I have to pay for it, I have to pay for it. But, you know, so.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a real quick commercial here. It's a quick commercial. If I gotta pay for it, I gotta pay for it. Let me just say that y'all can pay for anything right now. All right, Pat, go ahead.
Whatever.
I just put that plug in there to say it's a really big deal when a husband and wife can come together and not have to worry about finance. I think I'm saying that I'm taking a cut in there to say not only do you have that story, but I congratulate two people who has I'm not saying nothing in their hand, but took whatever they had in their hands to do something different. It's nice not to have to worry about finance. And that's beautiful.
And before we get back to that, let me just explain something to everybody who just heard that. Nobody sees, we'll get back. Nobody sees, and Gary, we've talked about this too, the same thing with your business. We don't see when you're up at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Dave be calling me. I'd be like, yo, what you still doing at work? I mean, at the office, you know, what are you still doing here? So as much as we could congratulate you all for having a successful,
David said y'all still on topic.
Well, let me. And by the way, it is. Let me just switch over something really quick because I want to ask this. Your birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
What are birthdays like for you?
So before 2019, they were you hear your boss?
Yeah.
Pop off, honey. No, for years, my birthday, I would say from probably 13 to in my 20s, but they were hard. Hard because I always wondered if my mom was thinking about me. Because that was the day I was born. So I always wondered, you know, are you thinking about me? Do you know that I'm turning 13 today, 16 today, 18 today? Like, and I always thought of it as the last day we probably saw each other. So they were very hard. Now I am an extreme extrovert. So I always love parties. I love being the center of attention. So I always celebrated in some way. So I was not in my room crying on my birthdays. I mean, I was fine. I was always around people, always doing something. I can name maybe 1 or 2 birthdays I didn't really do anything, but I would always take a space of my birthday to grieve and to mourn and to just talk and just kind of, you know, have that conversation with myself about what that day meant for me and for my mom. And so after 2019, my birthdays have been fine.
Wow. So one of the things I wanted to ask is, you talked about medical history, you talked about your relationship. So at the beginning, it's a funny question, but I meant this to, what is it that asked you to ask Lynette to come on? I said her eyes. And I can imagine, like, if you look at the grams, we have some distinct features. And I know you have Dana, so there's some distinct features from Dana. So I wonder, when you looked while you was growing up, your distinct feature is your eyes. So to me, I just say that.
Why,
so,
G? I think it's her cheekbones.
I thought it was her feet.
Well, the eye.
No, go ahead.
See, they're trying to get me in trouble.
No, G. I mean, that's good for what you
so
said. I thought it was this right here.
Right. It is.
Yeah,
it is. So that's what we meant.
What's the question?
So the point is, I wonder, while we grow up, you wondered, where did you get your cheekbone structure from too? Or was it your dad, or was it your aunt? Some of us don't get it from your parents. Sometimes you get it from a grandmother. So talk about how, you know, that progression, how you feel about that, even till today. And when you look at Dana.
Okay, so it's crazy because even when I was growing up in California, I was looking for people that I thought might look like me. Like, that could that be my dad? Could that be my mom? Like, could that be my sibling walking down the street? So I would look in people's faces like, I wonder if these people are my biological family members. Growing up, people would make fun of my cheekbones, and that was my feature that I, you know, and I have my nose is a little pointy, but so yes, I did wonder, oh my God, I wonder if I have my mom's cheekbones, or I wonder if I have my dad's nose, or my grandmother's hair, like, you know, where do my curls come? Like, so I'd always wondered that, and I didn't have any answers, you know, I just didn't have any answers. until just recently. So it all changed. It all changed. So
What was the feature that you saw in, maybe, because I remember one time I saw you post, I'm going to see my brother. I think, or something like that, or my brother's coming, or something of that nature. Have you found your features in people that you've reunited with?
So after I released my book, for those that don't know, after I released my book, people were telling me, they were like, oh my God, you have to do Ancestry. And I could have done Ancestry 7 years ago, right? But I was scared, again, fear of the unknown, fear of what I'd find, fear of people that didn't want to be found. And so I decided to do it. And when I did, I found 2 of my first cousins. They are my biological mom's identical twin sisters' sons.
Wow.
So we came up matching as half siblings, because twin DNA, as y'all know, is so close. So I was like, oh my God, is that my brother? Like, so to this day, we call each other brother and sister because we're so close. Like we're, and I call Dion my brother because when we first reunited on Facebook, he said, I don't care what the DNA says, you're my sister. He was like, you're going to be my sister. I don't care if we're cousins or not. You are my sister. And I said, great. I said, you're my brother. We just, so seeing him, we have the same nose. When I did Ancestry, and I was able to find out what their mom's name was Denise Carter. Okay. When I was born, my biological name given to me at birth was Janice Shacole Carter. So my mom named me after her. I never knew that until I met them. I'd heard their name might have been Janice or Denise, but I didn't have facts until I met them. So my adoptive parents just didn't like the name Janice. They said it just wasn't a very popular name back in the 80s. They said, we like the name Denise. So they just changed the J to a D and changed my middle name.
Not knowing
that my mom's biological twin, her twin sister's name was Denise. So when I met my cousins, they were like, what? It was just like mind blowing for them.
Oh, y'all trying to make me cry. Oh.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to hold it here, right?
I was so happy that my name wasn't like Penelope, because I was like, I'm so happy that it's
you'd be Denelope, and it wouldn't even.
I was just glad that it was still in the Anise family.
Right.
And so anyway, so when I found out their name, I found out their birthday. So from there, I became Inspector Gadget and was able to run and figure out a lot of things that no one could tell me. So what I did was I asked someone, where do you have a picture of my mom? Because I've never seen her before. Everyone I asked could not produce a picture of my mom. No one had a picture of my mom. Now, granted, no one was taking selfies in the cracked out era in California, right? So it was a lot going on. Ain't that many selfies in the world, right? So she was born the most and no one could produce. I was just like, yearbook pictures, something. Like someone has to have something.
Right.
No one had anything. And to be this close, I was like, y'all are killing me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call the Department of Corrections in California and get all of her prison records and ask them for a mugshot. I said, if you have a mugshot of my mom, send it.
Awesome. Right.
So I called them. They said, well, she was in prison, 30 years ago. It's in the archives. Call the archives. I don't care. I said, I'm not in a hurry. I've seen her in 39 years. I can wait, So we, David and I had gone on our anniversary trip, 2019 in October. And as soon as we landed in Hawaii, I got a call from the Department of Corrections and they said, we've just mailed off your mom's information.
Yeah.
I want to go home. And then
what's up?
So we enjoyed our trip, came back, and I tore open the mail and I saw all the things she went to jail for, all the reasons she was locked up, when she was released for funeral, she did this, she did that. Like it was a whole bunch of stuff. The last page was a mugshot. Wow. And I tell you, I held that picture for 4 hours and cried my eyes out. We look exactly alike.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to take off my camera for a second.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man.
Everybody's like, oh, man.
It was the same face. Same face, nose, cheekbones. So when I thought back, like, oh my God, I hate my cheekbones, or people would joke to me about it, I could see I have her cheekbones. During Ancestry and connecting with one of my mom's first cousins, they showed me a picture of my grandmother and my great grandmother. we all have the same high cheekbones.
Wow.
All same nose shape. So I was now able to see who I look like.
Wow.
Mm. Can I ask?
Go ahead, P. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask this because I know that Holly Fisher, she resonates with you. Okay. Everything's mom. Anything dad?
So it's funny because when I was writing my book, I don't think I really particularly had a strong desire to find out who my dad was. And the reason why is because to me, my mom left me. Now, I don't know if my dad knew I was pregnant. If she knew she was pregnant. I don't know if I was a one night stand. I don't know if I was a child of a John. I don't know nothing. To me, I needed to get the understanding from my mom. So I wasn't worried about nobody else. If I found her and she told me who he was, cool, right? But the search was for my mom. My search was for, oh, that's my brother right there.
Look at the cheekbones.
Yeah.
Just see that, right? Look at that. I mean,
the
awesome.
search was for her. Now, when I did Ancestry, I learned I was finding people, and then I eventually saw people that were connected to my cousin, and I was like, oh, this might be my dad's side. Like, it didn't even dawn on me that, some of their stuff might be in Ancestry.
Right.
So I did find a cousin. I think it might be my second or third cousin on my dad's side. Now, my mother's deceased. She died in 1989 at the day after her 32nd birthday. She died of an overdose. Her twin sister died 4 months later of the same thing.
Oh my God.
They are currently buried right next to each other.
Wow.
My father, I do not know who he is. The people that I've connected with on Ancestry are still trying to help me figure out. And I've kind of let that search kind of just wait a little bit because I needed to find my mom's. I couldn't do both. It was too much. Right. So I wanted to just kind of solidify things on mom's side. So I have a couple connections on my dad's side, but there were 23 boys and their brothers. And my mother and her twin were friends with many of them. So we don't know which one. And so because my mom was 23 when she had me, these men were in their 40s. So they're all dead. Not to say that 60, 70 is old, but they were all living the life and they are all deceased now. So we really don't know. I'm sure I have siblings on that side. I don't know. So I'll get to that side at some point, but the drive was for my mom. When I was adopted, my parents, the adoption agency told my parents that I may have a brother. And he was 6 at the time. And the thing about the one that you just put at my brother, Dion, our moms were pregnant with us at the same time.
Hey, the twins were pregnant at the same time.
We are 4 months apart. He was born in August. I was born in December of 1980. So,
I'm sorry, Denise, 1 second, because people are asking, is this the book? Thanks, Phil, for putting it up. I thought everybody saw that. The book is called They Chose Me. They Chose Me, which I'm going to get to the title in a second. They Chose Me, an adoption story. So, yes, for those who were asking you to pick it up, share it with someone. Great story, great book. All right, great book. Go ahead, Denise. I'm sorry.
And then I'm going to ask for all those who are on, if you just for the remainder of the time, share this again with 2 to 3, 4, 5 people. Yep. Share it on your page. Just awesome. We're not this is just amazing. Not just that the story is amazing, but God is amazing in what he's doing for her. It's like a great testimony. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I'm gonna keep this up, Paul. Go ahead.
So I was just saying that so at the time they were pregnant at the same time,
right?
But they also had siblings. So our moms each had a 6-year-old child at the time. They both got pregnant at 17, had a child,
and 23
they got pregnant with us. So I know I have an older brother who's probably 46 or 47 right now. I don't know where he is. I have heard he might be incarcerated. Not sure. And then when I did Ancestry, my cousins asked me, "Is your name Hannah?" And I said, "No." They said, "What was your name at birth?" I said, "Janice." It was named after my mom. They said, "Are you sure it wasn't Hannah?" I was like, "No." They said, "Well, you have a sister." And I said, "I do?" And they said, "Yeah." They said, "She's biracial. She was probably 2 or 3 at the time we were around, and we don't know where she went. Like, she must have been adopted. One of our aunts might have her. So you have a sister." So it's kind of been my mission now to kind of find my siblings to figure out a little bit more history. But She might be 2 or 3. I think she might be 2 or 3 years younger than me.
Wow, this thing kind of thickens.
It thickens.
You know, I'm praying that somebody will see this show, because you never know. The internet is wild.
Yeah.
It's like there's somebody that looks like you, so we're praying that you get all answers done, because in certain cultures you adopt people in your family.
Yeah.
So i.e. so
That's right.
So if Patrick lost his life earlier or something like that, I would take his kids, so you could still keep the DNA and the medical history, but there's such a separation.
Yeah.
And I'm also happy because I don't want to be critical of our church. There's a lot of people of color in the Adventist church that are adopted. And, you know, we talk about everything else under the sun, but we don't talk about, we don't even talk about this, especially if they're female and they're girls. So I'm so happy that we could talk about it. We could try as much as we can to rerun this broadcast, but wow, Denise, we're tired of crying. Last 2 weeks,
the last couple of weeks has been crazy.
Crying. Yeah,
I want to flip this a little bit. First of all, I want to tell you that I do have a friend, close friend of mine, a girlfriend, a close friend of our families that found her mother. I think you probably was hearing the story. It's a disaster. It's really a disaster. I can't even say online here. I'm afraid of where she is. And I'm asking you to be broad before I ask you about the title. If she's watching, which she probably will watch it, it didn't turn out right. She met her. It was great for 2 weeks, and everything went downhill. I believe there's a mental situation. I don't believe she hates her. I believe that she has a mental problem. That's what I believe it is. And she might have accepted that. Is there anything, and I'm being broad, you don't know everything. You don't know everything, not even close to it. Is there anything you could tell her about one thing that she
encourage
said,
her?
Yeah, encourage her. There's one thing that she did say is that after that, the situation with her birth mother, she has appreciated her mother and father. Her mother passed. Her mother and father now more than ever. And then I want to get to they chose me. Who's they? So could you just encourage her in some way or another?
Give yourself grace. This is a journey. There are people that I've met on Ancestry that I could do without. It has been challenging with a couple of folk. A couple people have been blocked because it was hard. I can't imagine being rejected by the person that relinquished you to begin with. Therapy. Even when I went through, I mean, my journey sounds amazing, but I was crying every day. Like every time I spoke with my cousins, they told me something new about my mom, something new about our grandparents, something new about their mom. Everyone was a mess, which is why there was no village. This is why I was, my dad told me, back in the 80s, they put an ad in the paper to say, if anyone knows this baby or wants this baby out of their family, come get them. No one responded to that ad. So, and I learned this as I was writing my book. I never knew that. So I'm like, it's grief. And what she's experiencing is going to be grief. And I was mourning a family that I was just meeting, but mourning the story. Mourning more, and so it's a lot, and therapy helped me so much. I went to my doctor because before I went to California to actually meet my cousins. No, it was soon after I got back. And I felt just sick. I felt ill. I physically felt ill. Like I was like, oh, I have cancer. Like something's wrong. Like something was wrong with me. And I could not put my finger on. I was down. I was like, it was awful. And I went to my doctor. I said, I think something's wrong with me. And she said, well, have you had any significant life changes lately? I said, I met my biological family. She was like, that's it. It's grief.
That's it. Yep.
It's grief.
It's funny, Denise, when we go through our psychological, they say marriage, death, moving are major. the list of adoptions, it's not there. It's not on the scale.
Yeah.
So even as a social worker, you have to find that to kind of right. So it's not even on that chart.
Yeah.
So that's why we tell people to go to therapy, because your life changes is not in the book.
Right.
You have to kind of like dig that out. That's another excellent point too.
Once I was able to put a name to it, I was like, oh, and I completely felt a release. Like, okay, it's okay for me to be feeling like this. I'm not sick. So encouraging her, give yourself time. It's going to be an up and down journey. And yes, I appreciate my family even more, knowing what my biological family couldn't do for me. There was no village. There was no support. Everyone was on drugs. Everyone was in and out of jail. My mom and her sisters were in and out of foster care. You know what I mean? So that rejection is going to hurt.
And I'm going to have her go back to 137, an hour and 37 to hear it, because I can't help her. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could only listen. And by the way, it's third party listening. I'm hearing from my wife. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not even, it hasn't even unpacked the way it's supposed to, but I'm going to send her there. Who's they?
Wait, Pat, before you do that, please, if you don't mind, there's a text in the word. I think it's Ephesians 1:5. That says, for he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, to be holy and blameless in his presence. In love, he predestined us for adoption as his sons through, this is sons and daughters, right? But as his sons through Jesus Christ, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of his glorious grace, which he has freely given us, the beloved one. In the Bible, Paul talks about adoption. I didn't even know that back then people were being adopted. And back then, they will take you. I'm just saying they will take you, like, and no matter if you were a different color, as long as they loved you, you were adopted into their culture. As long as you accepted their culture growing up, you were a part of that family. Just like Moses. Moses, they knew he was, they even let him know, hey, you're Israel, but you know what, you're really mine. You understand where I'm coming from? And what does great, I saw somebody put it in there, and I just wanted to well, maybe that's where your question comes from, Pat, with the they. Who's they? Well, in this text, when it says that he's giving grace, to bring you on as an adopted one, is it a bad word to you, or is it a better word to you? The word adoption. And then Pat, just run with it after. I'm sorry.
No.
I think I don't have any negative feelings about the word adoption. A lot of people hate my shirt. I'm gonna stand up and show it. Wanted, chosen, loved, adopted. I have met adoptees that hate the word wanted, chosen, because it's like, well, you weren't wanted because your family didn't want you. Gave you up. Chosen. What do you mean chosen? You're not a puppy. What are you chosen? What does that mean? What do you think this was God's intention? You think God wanted your parents to give you up? So I've heard both sides of the coin. But for me, they chose me. They chose me to live the life I'm living. They chose me to live out the story. I am thankful. Amazon, Holly. I am thankful for the life I've been afforded. I'm thankful to the two people, Dr. Emery and Fran Tolbert, for the love and the affirmation and the support and with this project. I mean, there are a lot of parents that could have been like, "Why you don't think we were enough?"
That's right.
That's right.
That's what I wanted.
That's right.
Put our business out there.
Yep.
And I made sure the only people that mattered to me about this book were my parents and David. I didn't care what nobody else done. I wanted to make sure that I had their stamp of approval. When my parents read my book, they were in tears. They said, we didn't even know you were going through all of this, because I didn't know how to articulate to them at 16, 15, 11.
Right.
I was mourning a family I didn't know. I was grieving a family that didn't want me. How do you say that to them? Because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I didn't want them to think they weren't enough. I just had that hole in me where I didn't have that biological connection. I didn't know my roots. I didn't know my lineage. I didn't know there was so much I just questioned, but it had nothing to do with them. It was my own internal struggle. And that's the point of writing my book, is that there are so many adoptees. There's so much uniqueness in each of our stories, but regardless of the life you have, we're all going to struggle with those feelings, whether or not people want to admit it or not. Right. I had abandonment issues. I had self-identity issues. I had self-esteem issues. I felt like I had to be more than enough for everyone else, so no one else discarded me. Men, women, friends, teachers. So I felt like I had to do and be more for approval. And it took a long time for me to realize I was enough. Now, They Chose Me came to me in the middle of the night because I was trying to figure out what my title was going to be. And I didn't want something corny like I'm adopted, or I didn't want Chosen because there's a book called The Chosen. I didn't want Kept. I don't know. I was thinking about all these names, and I was Googling to see if there were books out there with this title. And I was sleeping. I remember literally waking up in the middle of the night. And I know the Holy Spirit told me this. They chose me. And I woke up. I said, that's the title of my book. And I wrote it in the notes section of my phone. And I said, okay, that's it. But then I was like, well, they chose me. What is people gonna be confused? Like, chose me for what? So I said, I have to put an adoption story so that I can have that tagline for adoptees, birth parents, and adoptive parents. I didn't want people to bypass my book because, they chose me for what? Drugs? I don't know. Like, I needed to know, like, make it clear. Right. And it fit.
Yeah, I just want everybody to see that Denise Lynette Defoe, They Chose Me, an adoption story. And remember, you can go to www.theychoseme.com and you should be able to order it there. I know it's on Amazon also. I've seen it on Amazon. Is it best to get it from you? Or
you can get a signed copy from me. I mean, I get the money from it, but I love signing books. So I tell people, buy it from me because I love being able to sign it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. And we should do that. I need to throw something at you. Dave and I don't know. Paul and Dave were friends first. I know that for sure. They were they were friends first, coming into ministry, etc.
Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. And it's not a big story, but I met Dave when he was a kid. When his mother used to take him to this Black Nativity something program, like that, like every year. But what hit me is that he was at a place where he didn't think he wanted to do ministry, and that's when I met him at Andrews.
Oh, was that Andrews you met him?
Yes, and I sat with him in a booth in Andrews, and when we sat there in the booth, I talked to him and said, because he didn't think he was worthy to be a pastor. And so I said to him, and guess what? You don't know what I did before I came here to where we're meeting right now. So when we talked about that, what happened is he was about to get picked up. And remember, I was supposed to go to the church that he went to first. I was leaving New York to be the youth pastor at Metropolitan Church.
Oh, okay.
And they came to me and said to me, we have two, Bernard. He said, I have you, and I got this guy that I know from Boston. You know what I'm saying? He said, what do you think? I said, I got a job. You better go pick him up. And he picked him up. And the story is history. The guy's just been great since then. Yeah. I mean, but we have our own personal things I can text him that I can't text other people.
We used to golf together on Wednesdays, 9 holes over by University of Maryland. And Natalie loves you, Denise. That's another backstory. But you were married before your quest. Has it changed your relationship with Dave? Dave is her husband.
And you're the only person that's allowed to call him Dave.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
You know that?
It's true.
Everybody has to call him David. It's true. His name is David. It's true. I am David. If has anything changed? So I know Dave is the one that got me to school. He's always been a clinician at heart. How is it? You mentioned, you strung it out now, and people even named it in here. Abandonment issues, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Unpack it for me between your relationship now that you went looking. Did it change? How was his support for you, etc.?
He was 100% supportive. When I connected with my cousins on Ancestry, he was like, I'm getting you a flight. He was like, you want me to go? And I was like, you know what? I need to go by myself. Like, I just need to go and just be, so he supported every single walk of this journey. He prayed with me. He listened to me crying. He was excited. He was giddy. He helped me process a lot of things. And,
he didn't like this last trip though. that this guy sent you a plane ticket for. He didn't like this last trip you took. I'm just gonna let you know that.
Don't do this.
Because somebody just sent this to me. Somebody just sent it to me about the Willie. What is it? The Willie Moore.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Okay,
we'll get to that.
Somebody just sent it to me.
I remember he was like, she just won this thing. We'll get to that. We'll get to the end of that. Come on. I want to know how listen, Dave could be to me, we could be this, that, and the other. I want to know, I want to get a peek into your window. What that's like. What's that like to find? Go ahead.
People always ask me that's the first question everyone asks me is, what's it like being married to a pastor? And I always ask them, well, what's it like being married to your salesman husband? Like, I don't know what it's like being married to a pastor. I don't know what it's like being married to a therapist.
Right.
I mean, that's what he is. He is a therapist. But going through this experience helped me see that he's a really good therapist.
And he is, by the way. And he is. Go ahead.
He's really good. So, he really, really, really helped me identify feelings I didn't realize I was experiencing.
Okay.
He helped me process a lot of my grief, a lot of my there's a therapeutic use of just presence, and just being there. I don't know if it necessarily brought us closer, but I think that just him with the knowledge that he has of just like the stages of all of this stuff and helping me unpack self-identity and self-worth and abandonment and just moving through was very helpful. Very, 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 very helpful.
Now I'm trying to rush you. Now all three of you. We did Dana. If you go, Dana is your world. You will kill for Dana. There's no doubt about it. And y'all are twins, by the way. Now give me all of you, the family network. She's always meant more to you than anything else. But now that all of you are together and you've gone through this, what does it do to the family unit?
It gives, I think, having done Ancestry has helped create for me a sense of lineage, a sense of history and roots, and a sense of belonging. Not to say that I didn't belong with my family, right? But understanding, like, my parents were born and raised in Sanford, Florida. Their families migrated to Rochester, New York, right? That's their story, okay? That's all I've known all my life. So family reunions were here and there, and great-great-granny was from here, and great-great-great-great-granny was from here, and their families and this and that, and the lineage and the roots and the da-da-da-da-da. Great, awesome. So learning my own and understanding that my family comes from the Claiborne Parish in Homer, Louisiana, and migrated to Arkansas, and then migrated to Fresno. It gives me a sense of like, wow, steps, history, roots. So I've been doing a whole bunch of just like my own research of that and just understanding like where I come from. Well, it's silly. But like it's just giving me more sense of just of lineage and being able to tell more stories.
Yes.
Connection. So I think that's what it's been.
I like that. And I know there's going to be the question we all want to know: where did this Willie Moore thing come from?
Right.
Okay. So when I wrote,
get ready, Dave. Go ahead.
When I wrote my book, a lot of people told me, you need to get your book to Oprah, you need to get your book to somebody else, and you need to get it to Willie Moore Jr. And I said, why? Willie Moore, like he's, here on the radio, he's on 104.1 here, and then it's syndicated different other places, right? And I was like, why? And they were like, he's adopted. And I was like, oh, I did not know that at all. In 2019, I did not know, because I hear him on the radio, but it's always in passing. I've never listened to a full source. I've never heard his connection to the Barker Foundation. I never heard his affiliation with the Barker Foundation and just his impact with the adoption world. So I did, once I heard about it, I inboxed him and I said, hey, love the work that you're doing with adoption. I'd love to send you my book. He wrote back, sure, sis, let me know, right? So it's very casual conversation, DMs every now and then, liking a picture, liking a story. And I mailed it to him. And I never heard anything. And I was like, So about a year later, I said, hey, wondering if you ever got my book. He was like, nah, sis. He sent me a voice note. Nah, sis, I never got your book. I'd love to read it. I'm always, Black adoption, da, 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 da. And I said, okay, where should I send it? Never got anything back, right? So I was like, ugh. So then he wrote me back something, let's connect, da, 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 da. And it was always a back and forth thing. So we never actually connected.
Right.
October 21st, I follow him on Instagram, obviously, and there was an adoption sweepstakes where adoptees send in your story for a chance to view his movie, The Missing Piece, and have dinner in a movie with Willie Moore Jr. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I gotta get in my book. I want to meet him. This would be an awesome opportunity to connect and make connections.
Mm-hmm.
So I entered the contest, and I didn't know, I don't win nothing. So I was like, whatever. And I didn't know, I had no details. Am I going to be flown out there? Is this a link I'm going to be sent? I didn't know nothing. So I just sent it in. And then 5 days later, they emailed me and were like, you're a finalist. We loved your story. You'll be getting a call back for an interview. And I was like, I will. And so I told Dave, I was like, oh, I'm going to Atlanta next week, David. He was like, no, you ain't. He was like, you ain't win. I said, I'm about to win. And so 20 minutes later, a phone rings and I'm like, hello. He's like, hey, Denise, it's Willie Moore Jr. I was like, he told me that I could come out. I told him, I'm coming from DC. He's like, oh, that's a long way. Da, da, da. So I ended up getting a flight, getting a hotel, and my girlfriend Amber and I went to the. And
I am joking around. He is proud of you. David is proud of you. And we just
Pat, you said David just now, Pat.
Yeah, because Daphne just said I got my order in.
Oh yeah,
she got her order in. And anybody, please just go ahead and order. What I would like to do, as we're going along, is that if you are. Sometimes people say, okay, we can give money here, give money there, give money, whatever the case is. Please continue to actually.
Yo, can you believe Mom just texted me?
What did she say?
She said, Gary and Pat, I need y'all to hear this. You have not announced your Cash App since you've been on.
I just put it up, okay, and I don't know what Mom.
What got into Mom?
Tell Mom give us our inheritance now. We wouldn't need to do.
Then we won't need to.
But I told you from the beginning to put up the cash.
It's true, but it's not. Some people now. There's some people, and I know we can go straight to you. You can give to the Graham Snacks to give to Denise's cause. I know you didn't ask for that, and you didn't ask us to do anything, but I know this. I want to make sure that we get at least 20 books from everyone who's listening right now. Buy the book and give it to somebody, or buy the book and read it. Buy the book and get in contact. Denise will answer you. Just check her out on Facebook, and she'll answer you. But I need at least 20 of my friends right now that's on here now, that's following us right now, to at least
what's the retail price on the book?
I think it's 17.
Yeah. They can follow me on They Chose Me 2019. It's on Instagram. And you can ask me questions or anything at all. I'm more than happy to. You can buy it directly from there too. So
yeah, and I want everybody to buy on there. I want to start off everyone right now by I just need them to say, hey, we just saw one that came through. If you are going to purchase a book before the night is over,
and put in the
I need you to put it in chat. Don't worry about Graham Snacks right now. I want you all to buy this book and support. One thing let me stay where I'm at. We need to support each other. There's someone who's listening to this right now who says, oh my goodness, I'm going through this and I don't know how to come out. Or someone who has said, I don't know how to deal with this situation. There are a lot of people who have done that. And here's what I want you to know: buy her book. And she didn't ask for it. She didn't charge us the $1,000 that to come on here.
That doesn't go in our negotiations. And everybody no, just like Patrick, people says when you play the organ, is there one?
Yeah,
it has become. Everybody knows when guests come on here and they have something, we push.
Yeah,
we push it.
But guys, you got to read this. Yeah, and I really mean it. Skim through it if you have to, and then check it out some nights
and write the review.
This thing is really good. Phil said he'll write a review. Dorian says she's ordering right now. That's 2. Carolyn said, and Carolyn's probably gonna buy 2 or 3. Yeah, you'll know Carolyn. She just loves the support. Carolyn, Erica says she's getting the book right now.
When I come down next week, I'm getting a signed copy and a picture.
Well, let me say this. I've
Lynn just said she's ordering. Go ahead, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, Paul. Let me just get 10 in here, okay? Real quick. Let me just get 10.
Sure.
Come on. I just need. I don't even know how much I just had.
Right. It sounds like you're doing an altar call. You know.
So if we just get one, just one.
No.
Leanne
Thank
just
you, Leanne. Praise God.
Is there 10?
Is there 10? Is there 10? Daphne says she'll get hers. Claudette said, thanks, Claudette.
Take your McDonald money.
Yeah, just go ahead and buy
your Egg McMuffin money.
Yeah. For me, it's my sushi money.
Right.
Philip said, well, Phil, you live here. So Phil said he wants his signed.
Take your Bitcoin money. Your ship.
Dwayne Leslie.
Dwayne Leslie.
Dwayne Leslie could buy for his whole staff.
Yeah, you're right. Look at Carolyn. Didn't say just Carolyn. She said, you're correct. I'm getting 2, one for a friend. I know she was going to do something like that, right? Just who's that? And that's mommy.
All right. Yeah. So if mom said it, it's legit.
Yeah. If mom said it, it's right. This has been. Gary, we got to stop bringing people on. That's when we get off of here, we need to go therapy.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
It's crazy. Sometimes
last week, I was like this last week. Oh my gosh, clutch my pearls.
And remember, we're doing this for the rest of the month. So there may be sometimes people will call us and be like, "Yo, can you get her back on to talk to me, or can you get someone on to talk to what's going on?" And I know that you all have Amara Counseling. Those who are in the Maryland area and not Adventist, you can go ahead and and I love it because I started off as I'm an intern right now with Amara Counseling with Dave.
Patrick, somebody called her Sister Defoe.
Do you do speaking engagements?
That's a great question.
If it's in the church, she'll take off one earring, but she'll be there. Don't worry about it.
Yes, I do.
No, she'll honestly, yes, she does, and that'll be, and this is some great AYs, some great youth stuff to talk about, and young adults too, to be able to talk about that. Thanks, James, for putting that back up. And listen, everybody, once you get it, put it in your chat or on your Facebook and your Instagram. The book, once you get it, put it in yours. Let us think. Sometimes we get we write books, it won't take off till 3-4 years later. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. And Denise, I don't know what to say. It was just awesome.
One of the things that we're doing in December, for gifts is we're going to be talking about people that we know who have written and really highlight them in the book. I mean, in December, so that we could really beef up our people's it'll be great to be a bestseller. New York Times bestseller. If you're a New York Times bestseller,
it'll happen.
It will happen. And then I can drive up this way, Pat, because their house is this way behind the woods off 295. I can go over there. I can eat anything I want out of the fridge. So so I'm just so happy for you. And there's one thing to know a person. There's another thing to know about a person.
Yep.
So I want to thank you for allowing yourself to be transparent in the book, transparent now. And it is great to know that behind the smile, there's a person behind the smile. There's a person behind the cheekbones. There's a person behind the Sister Defoe. So thank you so much for telling your story.
Thank you. Thank you guys for asking me to come and for, pushing the book and everything. I appreciate it. I really do.
Denise, before you leave, I know we joke around all the time with our families and whatever, but Dave prays for you. Dave prays for us. I just want to make sure that we have the opportunity of praying for you before you leave out. And not only for...
Wow, Faye.
What's that?
Erica's, she sent me, this is the email she got back. I just ordered mine. It's coming in.
Awesome. Denise, let me pray you out. God, we thank you so much for friends, but more than that, to be able to hear such a testimony and a blessing. And there's so much more in the book and so much more to learn from her. I ask you to continue to bless their ministry, continue to bless her as she continues to open doors for people who need the doors open. But I ask you, Lord, continue to bless her, bless Dana, bless her husband, Dave. And I ask you, God, that at the end of this, someone has been drawn not only close to what she had to say, but also drawn closer to you. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Are you home? Are you home right now? Yeah. Where's Dave? Okay. I can't. I was
You
going
like a cameo?
Yeah, it's and jump in your camera. Listen, thanks for hanging out with us. Yvette said, "Great show, great show,
Oh,
great show."
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Denise. Appreciate
All right.
it. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bye bye. Wow, awesome guys.
Yeah, very good show. Yeah.
And
So adoption still.
And she's fine, Gary. And she's fine. You want me to take that picture for you and send it to you?
No, I'm good. I'm all right.
Don't be mad, Twan. Don't be mad, Twan.
Yeah, yeah, Gary. Gary, I can't even say what I want to say.
Yo, y'all don't get me into something that I'm not into. I'm just
saying
my job is to bring people on.
I thought Gary, Patrick, I thought Gary would say, "Listen, you know the features or so and so whatever." I thought Gary was gonna say, "Let me see your feet."
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm done with that. The maturity of the show has gone. I've not talked about feet in like this season. So feet.
Yeah. But honestly,
switch us up, Pat. Switch us up.
Such a real person. If you know her, you got to know her. Such a real person. I know we're over the time right now, but I want to let everybody know this. And I used to say to Gary and Paul, I don't really like to do this, but it's what it is. We're advancing. We're trying to move forward. We're trying to get. There's some places that we want to travel to without asking you to pay for.
That's right. Excellent point, Pat.
There's some things that we wanted to put out there, and we're just asking. And so I thank you for those who gave last week. Awesome. And I'm asking if you enjoyed the show, if you enjoyed what was going on. I just ask you to just drop something in Graham Snacks for us. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $100. Either way it goes, it does take some energy and some planning to get some of these things together. And the other side of it is that even Denise is my friend. Brenda Walsh is our friend, but it's always good to drop off something for them for saying thank you out of their busy.
And just put it in the in the regarding box. In the note says Brenda Walsh, Ovita Williams. Some people send money to them.
Right. I don't care if they're gonna get it.
Right. They're gonna get it. And another thing is, Pat, and a lot of people, we soon get the PO box. A lot of people sends us paraphernalia,
right,
to wear. Right. So, so this is a way how we put your stuff out there. Some people work for like the airlines or Amtrak or what have you. So, we putting all of this together. We really are blown away. Again, like when you say, when you put the organ on, the whole chat goes into. Yeah. Is there one?
Look at Woo, Gary, asking, send me some money. You see what Woo says? I was got money.
I was just thinking of people, when we talked about December, having people's books and things of that nature. Got Oliver Marcel, who wrote, and so many different people who have written. I think even Dorian has written.
Dorian just said it.
Dorian, I think Dorian
is written things that we want our fans to understand that, or those who hang out with us to understand, our friends to understand that we want to push your stuff too. All right, this is like a Sabbath. Some people ask us, what is it? I don't know. It's like when you go to church and you come back and you eat around the table and you just talk with your belly full. We just talk about anything. But I just enjoy what we've heard today. I thought it was awesome. And again, I know, Gary, you said Brenda Walsh, Denise. Let's keep pushing her book, but remember, we still need to keep this thing afloat. So please, so when you put Graham Snacks and you put somebody's name on them, we have to send it to them.
That's how honest.
But I'm asking you, Graham Snacks, Gary, be quiet. I'm asking you, Graham Snacks.
Sorry, Pat.
So that we can be able to move forward with some of the things. Listen, Paul, somebody said to me before, man, why is your camera so clear? And I said, because it's what I have. I think it's great that our listeners support us on getting those type of things so that Gary can get the glare out of his glasses.
Well, we want to say shout out to Sister Green from New York, who sent something for Gary to get a mic.
That's right. She sure did.
You finally revealed it, because my wife was wondering who's sending me all of these presents. Right. And I don't want nobody to think that Paul is hiding my extracurricular activities. So thank you, Sister Green, for sending us. We'll get the mic this week. And
Gary, I'd like to give a shout out to Erica Keith. Erica Keith makes shirts. I'm gonna get with her and see if she can make "Is There One" shirt, right?
We need a "Is There One" shirt. Our G shirt needs to come back
with Lola. going with Lola calling the altar call or something like that. We'll call her. Thanks, Holly.
Right.
I appreciate that. We'll go ahead and give them a call.
And Pat, for those who may not know, there's already a store there for people to go and buy or what have you. But by next week, you can get all of that. Everything will be taken care of by next week. But there's already a store. We don't want to launch when we're not ready. Right. What we do want you to know is that some of the things that our parents have done, they set up scholarships. And as they set up scholarships, we want to make sure that a lot of things that we ask for is not just for this, but also for scholarships. My parents have always loved Christian education.
Yep. They're big on that. They're big on that.
Very big. We didn't even know that they were like taking their endowments and paying for people to go to school and this, that, and the other. I was like, yo, give me that money. You know what I'm saying? That's fixing roofs at churches. You know what I'm saying? That's right. But we want to make sure that the next generation is taken care of. And so when we ask for something, when we do it later on and we say, hey, buy our hats, buy our shirts or things of that nature, or even people's books can be on there and it go right to them. Sure. The most important thing is that we want to be where God wants us to be. And so if you give, it helps us to do even more. I
love this, what Wu just said. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Whoa, we've been ready, son. We got to make out the brick. We've been ready, son.
No, last year it was Wu that said, yo, I need to get y'all some sponsors.
That was Wu. That's what Wu did. That's what Wu had said that.
Wu is not connected to the Wu that just became the Boston mayor. That's two different Wus.
Two different Wus.
But we'll take them both.
And Wu, this shirt is written. This is for you today. The Wu.
Well, really quick, Pat.
Okay. Oh man, we forgot to ask her who's her favorite Graham.
It's okay. Let's keep moving. Okay. Let's roll with this.
Okay.
If Dave's watching, if Dave's still watching, or if she's still watching, we can ask her who's her favorite Graham. She can put the text.
She can put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Right.
Who's her favorite Graham? Wheat thins. Hold on. Let's wait for her. Let's wait for her.
Is she coming on?
No. Denise, we're just gonna ask you right now to put it in the chat.
All right. So Pat, let's do the snacks in the meantime. And
go ahead, I showed mine.
Okay, wheat thins. I got these great vegan yellow corn tortilla chips rounds. Join is good.
Okay, it's Patrick. It's Patrick, Gary.
Of course, it's Patrick. But that's the snacks right there.
Yep. Got the snacks.
Yo, I got some. Y'all gonna love this. This half and half, y'all.
Yeah, that thing will kill you. That's from the Chinese people?
No.
Oh, my bad.
And it's fun, and you're supposed to say it's from the Asian spot, not the Chinese.
My fault.
The like Chinese. You said, Porter Rocks, right?
You're right.
Yeah. Yo,
now
Porter Rock.
Gary, now he's
what is it called back?
Politically correct, right?
Shut up. Oh, I got this from Huntsville, actually.
That's cool.
So I wanted to make sure tomorrow on Mental Health Manna.
Go ahead. Yeah, what you doing?
Pat tried to. I don't know if y'all got it on the screen or whatever. So I have one of my favorite people, Claudia Marion, will be on.
Coming on?
She'll be on tomorrow. I got her on tomorrow.
I didn't know she's gonna get up that early, G.
Well, it's G. That's you understand? Because all of our shows come on at non-prime time.
If you notice, guy, I keep looking behind me see if the sun is still up because I got to go to the grocery for something.
Hey, I understand that, but go ahead, Gary. But this is the
Mental Health Manna. So Mental Health Manna, we just try to kick off your Sabbaths every Sabbath morning. And guess what, Pat? You know this. It's 7 to 7:30, and then we're done. That's it.
Yeah, I got you. I woke up late last time, G, and G was like, "Yo, Pat, what don't try to come on now and be like, what's up, dude?"
Yeah. So tell them about your show, Pat, on Mondays, and even though it's not how you direct it, a lot of people don't know about that. So
it's coming out of the Conference Office Children's and Youth Ministries, where we call the names of all the children and youth that you put down. And it's been a success. It's over 1,000 names. We take the time and read out all of them. I'm not doing anything this weekend. Like I said, I'll be at Retha Dixon, her father's memorial, but that's family to me. I don't count that as work,
Right.
Tonight, very surprising. I usually jump on when I ain't got nothing to do and talk about something with AY. I already bought wood for my fireplace. I'll be sitting back. and I'll be watching Chosen, so I'm good.
So
Pat,
Paul,
yeah.
talk about your initiative, and that's we rarely get together. Talk about your initiative with Bible Boot Camp real quick. Put that up
really quick. Yeah, Bible Boot Camp. We partnered, teamed up with men's ministry at Ephesus Church. Bible Boot Camp's been going almost 10 years now.
Nice.
Right now, we have the opportunity of doing this for men for this whole month, but everyone is invited. And so with that, Pat, you had the first day. Jenkins had the second day. Jamal Moore had today. He killed it, man. Killed it today.
Good.
And so we start again. We don't do weekends, so we start again on Monday at 5 o'clock in the morning. Bible Boot Camp. We'll see you there.
Good.
Awesome.
And then Monday we have grief counseling, Pat. We do that, and then we have our men's at 9 p.m. so we could get the West Coast involved. So you guys will see all of that moving in the right direction. We want to thank you for really making us a real success. And we this is episode 60.
It is, man. Can you believe it?
60.
Episode 60. This is
the
one
one talking about
thing.
We don't pre-record, and this is 60 weeks in a row.
60 weeks in a row.
This is the one thing we have decided to sit back and do something together. Come on, guys.
Right.
We gotta do better than that, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Shib.
Yep, Shib. On the way out, didn't I tell you when Gary asked me a long time ago, which is the one to look out for? Shib is the next one to look out for. Dude. All right, everybody, gotta run out of here.
Pat, are you going anywhere right now? Because I'm running the shop.
Hey. Let me do it real quick. What song or what hymn you want to hear tomorrow? Let's ask. I'm going to email Brenda and ask her what song, or maybe people from the chat, what one hymn you want to hear her play tomorrow. And we'll say it's from us.
When he cometh to make up his
Okay.
jewels.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Hey, you know what?
When he cometh.
Everybody, goodbye. Tell us goodbye back, please. Just tell us goodbye.
So we can
So we
go.
can get out of here.
So we
Come
can
on,
get out of here.
Goodbye. Tell us goodbye so we can go. Lynn said be well. Phil said peace. Phil said peace. Come on, let me just put your names up as we go out.
Phil, send that merchandise, bro. We got you.
Erica said
we love you, Phil. We love you, Phil.
Erica, see you tomorrow morning. Erica be the first one up on there.
She would be on there. Okay,
she'll be there tomorrow morning.
Peace out. Coretta is like bye.
Shireen Taylor.
Owen is like bye.
Yeah.
Yes, girl. Episode 60.
Episode 60.
Yep. Episode 60.
We saw what Wu said. Get it together. Wow. Okay. We here. We'll take your money, Wu. Right. We'll find it. Yeah.
I didn't even know Donna was on here.
3. Cut it off, Pat. 2.
Ready?
1.
Peace, everybody. Bye.